Hi guys and welcome back. Today, as I say, I want to talk about my three-part or on my eating disorder history. Today what I thought to focus on is the inpatient part, which will be the last part of this series. As I took you through part 1 and part 2, part 2 just finished there in my last part where my dad had passed away and I was away out to the hospital to see my appointment to get admitted to the hospital, and obviously my wife phoned and told me that my dad had just passed away, so things get cancelled as I told you, and I ended up spending the next few months arranging his funeral and getting over his funeral and taking care of all his business and things like that. And so this takes you up to January 2015. I actually got admitted at this point, and on that day I won't mention numbers because I don't want to trigger you and things like that, but I was about a BMI 11, which was very, very low for my height at 5'10". So as I say, I got admitted to Cross House Hospital in Kilmarnock, and that's one thing I want to stress to you. In Scotland, it's really, really hard to get admitted to an actual inpatient ward that specialises in eating disorders. Here, really, it's just all psychiatric wards, so it's a psychiatric ward I get admitted to. That's one thing I would like to tell you as well. 2005 actually, when my second admission, I actually had the chance to go to the Priory in Glasgow, which is a specialist eating disorder unit. But at the time I was with my wife and things like that, and I was concerned about my wife's health because of her going downhill with the cancer and things at that point, and she was to get treatment and things. And I decided I didn't want to do it, and I ended up just getting care in the community, and I thoroughly regret that now. It's probably the biggest mistake I ever made. Even though at that time I was really far on with my eating disorder, having suffered it since 1997. Most people don't get that option to go to an eating disorder specialist unit because it's all about specialist funding. You've got to apply for it through the NHS, and I had that. But the sad thing is, they let you get to that really low weight. You've basically got to be a skeleton and dying to actually get to an eating disorder unit. But the process is, they won't let you go to the Priory until you get to a certain weight, because obviously your cognitive abilities are not there to thoroughly function with the programme that they set. So you've got to stay in the psychiatric unit and get to a BMI. At that point they recommended that I get to a BMI of 21, and I didn't go to the Priory because they told me that I was likely going to be in there for about a year or maybe even more. And there was no way I was going to do that because, like I say, I wanted to be with my wife and my dad and things like that, and I just didn't want to commit to it, unfortunately, which I'm really, really regret now, because it could have probably changed my life for all the better. So if you do ever get a chance to go to a specialist unit and you're suffering with an eating disorder, take it, give it everything you've got. It will make all the difference, because a lot of people just don't get that option. So as I say, I was at this point, I was in a psychiatric ward, Cross House Hospital in Kilmarnock, and basically the way it starts is, on your day when you're getting checked in, they'll take all your belongings, they'll go through all your belongings, making sure you've not got any sharps and things like that, and everything gets confiscated. They go through your clothes and everything, because obviously there's a lot of people do harm themselves in there, and so that's one of the things they do. So basically what happened with me, I was in 24/7 surveillance care. There would be somebody sitting outside the room with me constantly, which is a thing that you do get a lot in eating disorders, obviously because of the risk of you purging and things like that. So anytime I went to the toilet, somebody would come with me. I was wheeled around constantly in a wheelchair because I was totally bedridden, and I was actually on a refeeding diet at this point because my body went into shock. I had refeeding syndrome, and I suffered edema in the legs, which is puffiness. You can get that in the face, in the legs. That's a symptom that when your body starts refeeding after you've restricted for a long, long time, it can go into shock, and it can be fatal and actually kill you. So like I say, I was on a refeeding diet, and basically that was about 400-500 calories for the first week. I was roughly getting like a half a sandwich a day. And come on down the new fudge, pal. Sorry about that, guys, he's always here. A bit of toast in the morning, like I say, half a sandwich in the afternoon, and that would be virtually it. And a wee drop of half a glass of milk, and it was gradually built up over the weeks. 500 calories, 600 calories, up until I got to about 2,000. And I was in the hospital for about a good 4 or 5 months. It was June 2015 before I get released. But as I say, in there, the process, like I say, there was somebody would be with me 24/7, and obviously I would get wheeled down to the dining area. In there, all the different patients ate together, because there was people in there with various psychiatric disorders, schizophrenia, bipolar, various. Actually, when I was in, there was only one person that had an eating disorder, and it was a girl. She was in her room 24/7. She was actually pregnant, about to give birth to a wee baby, and she was getting fed through a nasogastric tube. So I didn't see much of her, but I got really friendly with a lot of people, and I made some great friends. And it was the things you seen in there was really, really, I can't stress it enough. It's shook me up big time. It's people. There was a guy actually. He was suffering from schizophrenia. One night I heard him screaming, and he'd actually wrapped a sheet round his neck and tried to hang himself. And there was people getting restrained in the showers. There was a couple of guys attacking the nurses and things like that. And the thing was that all these people, they were that lovely, and it was just their disorders. That's what I want to stress. These people are real people. They don't choose to be like that. They were the greatest people you could speak to. I remembered sitting, we'd been playing pool in the pool room and things like that, darts, all watching videos together and that, and I made some really great friends and that I kept in touch with, and they've all had their individual problems, but they actually helped me through my eating disorder. One guy, he suffered from bipolar disorder. His name was James. He helped me immensely in my recovery. He constantly encouraged me to eat. He would even go downstairs and get me scones and jam and everything he could to encourage me to eat. And he was one of the main reasons that really spurred me on in my recovery. And it's really sad to see. The thing was, a lot of these people were obviously on really high medications and things, but when you've got an eating disorder, you don't really get any medication. Your medicine is food. They were all really full of really serious high drugs, amitriptyline and Prozac and all kind of sorts of things. And in a way, I suppose that's good for them because they don't see the bad side of things. But with me, it was good in a sense that I got to see the bad side of it, and it was really bad in another sense that I happened to see all the kind of things that was going on. And all through the night and things as well, you'd see people running up and down the corridors. There was a guy, actually, he used to pace up and down, and he thought he was in the army and things like that, and he'd be shouting, "Commander, Commander, Hitler, Hitler, Hitler." It was an absolute shame. And there was even an old woman across the road. She kept thinking she was back in her youth. She'd be shouting out, asking for her mum and things like that, and it was absolutely sad to see. But like I say, I got on with a lot of them, and they were absolutely brilliant. And that's one thing I want to stress is all these illnesses, we've all got to give compassion about them. Nobody chooses to have a mental illness. It absolutely sickens me to the stomach when people say that, because all these people are really, really special, and I know some of them that's passed away even. I've had friends, my friend, that I'm not going to mention her name, but she actually died with an eating disorder, and she was fully recovered from it. She was right up at her right weight. That's the issue that I'd like to stress. You can pass away with an eating disorder even when you're fully recovered, because it takes that much toll in your body, and it can have a lasting effect on your heart and things, and that's how a lot of people actually pass away, is through heart issues. So you don't compare your recovery to anyone else. Everybody's different, and everybody goes at a different pace. I would like to say to all to people that if you've got somebody with an eating disorder and you're trying to help them, helping somebody in recovery starts with you getting educated. I can't stress that enough. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Remember, someone in an eating disorder, they're not cured. Be understanding that they'll have some good days and bad days. We all have that. Recovery is not linear. It's up and down. But getting up every morning and choosing recovery is winning. You don't come out in inpatient treatment cured. There's going home's just the start of it. That's one thing that's the major issue that I have with eating disorder, getting in for help with an eating disorder, is you go in there, they feed you up, they focus on the food and they send you back out with that mental issue. Obviously you've got to get to a certain weight before your cognitive abilities are even able to deal with the mental side of things, but I feel you should be in there longer dealing on the mental issue. You actually get sent back out and it's like sending you out, bandaging up a broken leg and sending you back out. It's the same thing, but obviously it's all about beds and things like that, and most of these units they only have a certain amount of beds, and getting in and getting the help is half the battle. Like I say, you've got to fight an awful lot to even get the help you need through recovery to get into hospital, because you're not taken seriously, and usually it isn't until you're at a very low weight. So as I say, I was let out. After a while I got up to my BMI of 16, which was the target weight that they set me, and then I got home eventually. But over the first couple of weeks, like I told you, when I was on the recovery path in the hospital, they eventually started to give me back my privileges, I started to get things like I would be able to get up and walk about once I met their target weight each week. I would start to get down to the dining room myself, and then have my meal myself without anybody watching me. I would be able to go for a bath and a shower and go to the toilet without anybody watching me. But this was monitored. If I kept gaining the weight, things would keep going and I would push forward. But if it started to stall, it would be taken away from me. So as I say, I got up to the target weight of 16, and they started to let you go home in day passes, which is when they let you go home in day passes and let you see how you do, to let you back out into the community. And obviously when you go back, you're monitored to make sure you haven't lost weight and that. It's basically just a test to make sure that when you go home you're going to be fit and able to deal with pressures outside. And it gradually added up to weekend passes and things, which really went well. And then eventually I did get home with help in the community, which I still get to this day. I'm monitored every day by my eating disorder team. They come in and see me every morning, and obviously if things don't go well with my eating disorder recovery, they'll start coming in at meal times for mealtime support. Basically that is where they come in and watch you to make sure you're eating properly and you're getting the nutrition you need. But everything's going great and I'm doing really well and I'm gaining weight. So like I say, when I did get out, this was the first real time that recovery really happened, and it makes me really sad that I couldn't do it for when my dad was alive and things like that, and obviously for my wife. I really, that's one thing that really regrets me, but I don't know what it was, just knowing that I had to do it for myself and my dad up there and my wife and the memory of my family, and obviously I wanted to help as many people as I could. But actually when I was in the hospital, the nurse that specialises in me in the community at the moment, she actually sourced a place that was dealt with men and actual men's eating disorders, and it was Men and Boys Eating Disorder Service Scotland. You'll find that in the link down below, and she recommended I get in touch with them. She says it might be good for you to speak to actual males rather than females that you've done all along. So I did get in touch with them, and I started to speak to them, and I went to a few of their groups and things like that, and then I eventually became a volunteer. And then, like I say, I ended up speaking in the daily newspapers and things, and I don't know if you've seen any of these, but I'd like to show you some of the things that I've actually done. You'll see it here. This was the one in the local Ardrossan and Salkits. I spoke recently about my eating disorder for them as well. And then obviously in the Scotsman newspaper as well, I spoke about my eating disorder too. And then obviously in the Daily Record. And I really didn't like the point of the boy who stopped eating. It kind of stigmatises eating disorder, but they put a lot of triggering pictures and things like that on in my weight, which wasn't really, I didn't expect them to do, but they actually did do, though they told me they wouldn't be used. And like I say, I started to do that with MBEADS. I started to do a lot of media work, and then I eventually spoke at the Scottish Parliament for Eating Disorder Awareness Week about eating disorders, and what I was doing was I was speaking to the NHS staff and how they could end up doing a lot more for eating disorders and improve their service. And like I told them, I says that they really needed more specialist units, because even the specialist unit that we do have is only one in Glasgow, which is 5 beds, and even then there's one in Edinburgh, but it's, like I say, it's very limited beds, and it's a national lottery fund basically if you manage to get actual treatment, because you've got to jump through hoops and get a lot of funding. So I spoke to them about that, and I said that it would be a good idea if they had a specialist nurse that would deal with patients in the ward, like a male nurse to deal with men and such and such. So, and then after that I actually get in touch with Be Charity, and I started doing media work with them, which I've done a lot of, doing various things online for the STV website. I spoke on STV Glasgow. I've done a lot for See Me Scotland as well. And all this really helped my recovery, and it made me think that I wanted to do as much as possible, and that's where I come out of hospital, set my target is to help as many people as I could and get out the word of eating disorders. And that was my motivation in getting recovery, and that's actually what made me go and set up my YouTube channel. The courage and things that gave me doing this with the media, I thought, you know, I can do more. I can maybe speak to people on YouTube and get my own word out more, even more, and try and help so many people worldwide if I could, rather than just in the UK. So I hope that's gave you all the kind of insight on my history and things like that, guys. And please comment below if you would like any more and things. And I just want to say to you, I love you so much, and we can all recover. Please do it. You know recovery is possible. It's not going to be easy. There's going to be days that it'll be really hard, but we can all get there together, and it will happen. It's an ongoing process. So I'll speak to you all again soon, guys, and thanks very much for listening to my story. I would like to say, and also, guys, that I forgot to add at the end there, it was actually when I went online, I was looking at a lot of different things. I started looking at YouTubers and for recovery, and it actually took me to veganism and things like that, and it showed me Dates with Love and quite a few others that had recovered from their eating disorder through the vegan lifestyle, and it was something I'd thought about for a long time. And I actually got chatting, started looking up the YouTubers that had been suffering with an eating disorder, and I actually stumbled across Educating Shani. And it was actually her that gave me the courage to start my YouTube channel. I was thoroughly inspired by her. She's a great person, and I thoroughly recommend you check out her channel. She gave me all the courage in the world to start my YouTube channel as well, because I thought to myself, that girl's putting herself out there and she's being real life. She's been honest and open about all her struggles. She shows you her good days, she shows you her bad days, but she does it in such a great way. She reaches out and wants to help everybody, and she's funny, really funny to watch. She's absolutely great. She's comical, and she's everything's all bright in her house and that. She loves to put out the positive, bright attitude, and she's very spiritual as well, which is something I'm getting into shortly as well. I'm be joining the LDS church, which is a Mormon church as well. I've been Christian all my life, and I want to get back into that. That's one thing I would say. When you're in your eating disorder recovery, you start to become back into all the things. You get in touch with the planet and the animals. I've been really getting back in touch with the animals and my spirituality and things, which you lose in an eating disorder recovery until you actually recover. So like I say, that is one thing I really wanted to add at the end of that. I actually forgot to put it in at the end there, just talking about what made me go vegan and things. Like I say, I wanted to do it for years and years, but I was obviously prevented by my eating disorder team, because it can be used as a mask for your eating disorder. But I threw myself into it, and I promised them I would do it for the right reasons, and my eating disorder team are absolutely brilliant. I owe my nurse Gina Stevens all my life. She's an absolute gem. I love her to bits. She's had her own problems in the past, but she's there for me constantly. And though at times I didn't believe they were doing it for the right reasons, but that was my eating disorder voice telling me that, because your eating disorder doesn't want you to get help, because if you lose your eating disorder, it feels as you're losing your identity, and it rebels against people that's trying to help you. And I owe Gina all my life, just as much as I do my wife. The two of them are there constantly for me, and I can't thank them enough. Gina Stevens and obviously Dr. McRae, my psychiatrist, they saved my life, and I owe them everything. And I as much want to do my recovery for them as everybody else, like you guys and myself, because I owe it to them. I don't want to let them down. They do all the help to help me, but I've got to put in the work and do it as well. So love yous guys, and speak to you all again soon.